If you want to find out more about invisible delivery, take a look at this video. I think you'll find it really interesting. Hello, everyone. I'm here with Michał Mołdrzyk from Software Mind, and this is the last of a series of videos we're doing in and around the tech space in the last mile. And Michał, we couldn't have the series of videos without talking about one very important thing. It's something that's got two letters that everyone is talking about. Michał, what are those two letters?
Hello, everyone. Hello, Marek. The two letters you ask about, it's obviously AI. Everybody's talking AI. Everybody's asking how it changed my industry and what I should do with the AI today.
And, although a lot of people, I think, Michał, use it a bit as a buzzword, it's actually much more important than that. We were talking before the recording that, as you can see from my haircut, I've been around. And when I started in the industry, IT was very much a secondary supportive service. Today, I think some people would say, and I'm one of them, that actually last mile is IT. Without IT, it doesn't exist. And perhaps the newest iteration of this is AI. This isn't, Michał, about futuristic robots or other things. It's about things that we can use today. But before we talk about today, let's move to the future. How can you see the last mile, the AI enhanced last mile in perhaps a decade?
I think the AI will be a huge influence on the last mile industry and will change the industry completely. And what I mean, I think that the industry will change to the shape, what I call the invisible delivery. So if you order something, you will not think when, how the parcel will be delivered to my home. Like you today not thinking about how electricity is delivered to your sockets on house or how the internet is delivered to your phone. And I think the AI will be the enabler to change the industry in that way, that the customer will be using it in the different way in comparison to the use it today.
That's fascinating. So, perhaps you went to the old stage that I would remember where you had very little control, very little influence. The next stage was what we call interactive delivery management. So you had interactive control. But what you're saying is we get to the point where the processes and systems are designed based on what they know about you in advance. So almost they know and they predict what you would want to happen. So it's like the energy in your plug that it just comes there.
Yeah, it is. And the prediction is only, I think, the one of the aspects that will be changed. I think also the way how you operate the networks will be changed. So instead of one single hub that is in the center of the network, you will have a distributed network. So it will be flexible to manage the network. You will not have a single point of failure, the bottlenecks, but you will need to operate very complicated system, and only AI will be able to do that.
And by being, shall we say, more dispersed, you're going to be able to be closer to the client, to be able to respond faster. And you're right, of course, it's going to add complexity because you have all of these micronodes and so on. But we also talked about some other things, hybrid fleets. Do you think humans will remain essential, or can you see within the next decade last mile without humans?
I think the humans will still remain and will be needed to operate, but the role will be changed drastically. So there will be no courier, I think, in the way we think about the couriers today. It will be more the operator coordinating the work of some AI agents, self-driving robots, and the parcel machines. Yeah, so that's, I think, the role of the people in the future will look like.
I don't know if you saw the video that I posted because one of our mutual friends was in the US recently, and I always used to say Boston Dynamics robots were amazing, but they were just so expensive. And I think two things have happened simultaneously. On one hand, the robot is even better. The stuff that I've seen it do was just, I think almost a human couldn't do some of the things the robot did, but the costs are coming down. So I'm with you. I can actually imagine that they're going to be humanoid robots doing a lot of the things that historically could never be done, such as walking up steps, perhaps actually delivering directly to the apartment. I think the real milestone, and you said it, I agree with you, probably there's still going to have to be human control of that robot. But I think the moment where AI really takes over would be the moment where actually you don't need that human control. Can you see that happening in our lifetime?
Honestly, I think we will need humans forever because there will be always a role for people to manage the edge cases, to deliver the premium services to other people. Yeah. And of course, AI have the capabilities, the ability to build a much complicated network to coordinate the role of each robot or of each person in the network. But people will be still involved, in my opinion, and required to operate the network.
So, and that makes a lot of sense. So really the humans will be there for the exceptional situations to manage the things that perhaps shouldn't happen or are unique until actually the exception becomes standard, in which case the machine will learn. But let's move on because we still have some important stuff to cover. You know, we talked about the future and it may happen, it comes a little bit faster than we think, but still, not all of those things are going to be possible today. What are the practical things that can be implemented already today from your perspective?
From my perspective, there are two things you can start doing today. So the most important thing is not to wait for the change, but start implementing the changes today. One very important fact is that you can start implementing AI in some areas that you are in your operation. What I'm thinking is mostly the prediction. AI today is very good in the prediction if you have proper data. And based on that, you can extend the AI implementation in your organization. So if you have, for example, very good customer behavior prediction, you can try to avoid first fight delivery, because when you predict that customer is probably not at home, you can inform him in advance that there are different ways, different options to deliver, and you avoiding sending courier to that address. And that's the one way. Then you can...
Can I just jump in? Because I reckon that's a really important point. And that can be enhanced if we have some data. So something that I remember from Amazon, Amazon was really good at asking questions. So that you would tell Amazon, generally, if I'm not home, these are my preferences. If you put that together with AI, I guess what you're saying is that it could predict, okay, big chance Michal's not home, but if he's not home, he will accept the locker that is 50 meters from his home. Are we talking about that sort of thing?
Yeah, we're talking about that, but you can also take advantages of the AI and smartly communicate with the customer. So in case when you're predicting that he's not home, you can ask the customer, will you like a parcel to be delivered to the nearest parcel locker, for example? And only in the case when you're expecting that the customer is not present. And you can also use the knowledge from the AI to predict the customer behaviors on the out-of-home network. So when you're predicting on which hour the customer will be picking up the parcel from the parcel locker, you can in better way utilize the machine. So putting the parcels 1 hour before you are expecting your customer is going to pick up.
Yeah, I think, you know, the more I talk with you about this, Michał, the more I can see that in every area, predictive, should we say, utilization of machines. You know, another one we discussed in the past, I remember, was predictive maintenance, where you can actually use various exceptional signals to tell you that something's going to go wrong. And of course, something close to our heart is dynamic route planning. But tell me one thing, because I think everyone understands that it's a clear strategic direction. Everyone talks about AI, but practically, from your perspective, what could people do? Somebody calls you and says, Michał, look, I know I need to do it. I'm not sure where to start. What would you say to someone when they ask you that?
So obviously it's the individual case of every organization, but what I think every organization can do today is to prepare to implement AI, because there are some areas that AI is already delivering a huge value. Prediction is one of them, but there are many areas that I think are not ready for AI today, but in the 1 or 2 years they could be ready, and you can prepare your organization. What I mean, to implement AI, you need real data. The best option is to have the real-time data, consistent and data you can rely on. And you need to have the process that allow you to orchestrate the work of the people in the field. And you need to have proper tools to communicate. Then you can implement AI. If you're using systems that are not connected today, which you don't gather the data, you don't have the real-time data, there will be very hard to implement AI. So what you can do today, start to preparing for AI implementation. That's every organization can do today.
And I think if anyone has any doubts, then you can call somebody like Michał who can come and have a look at the various systems, tell you that, for example, wow, this is a huge opportunity, or maybe you're not connecting the various pieces of information you've got to be able to create something that is meaningful and holistic. Michał, we could talk about this, I think, for hours, but please, dear viewers, if you found it interesting, or if you've got examples where AI has either helped you or where actually it hasn't been implemented best, please comment below. Also, feel free to contact Michał at Software Mind or me. We love this stuff in case you haven't noticed, and I think we could always add value to a discussion. Michał, as usual, great talking. Looking forward to a new AI-enhanced world built together with companies like yours.